How many people here have failed? I'm not alone. This is good. You know, today I want to talk about failure. I want to talk about real failure and what it means to succeed, to be embraced in failure. But we don't have to go far to look for failure because we have to think about last year for our Leaf fans, right? But what's the mindset of those players when they left that game? They were up by 3 goals. But what happens at the end? They're sitting in the dressing room thinking, I failed colossally. And what happens if they look at it a different lens, what's possible? So where I want to take you today is between failure and learning and success. And in the middle, there's a lot of things we can take from that. I want to first share with my success, but I also want to talk about some leaders in this space that have had success at that. Now for me, school was a bit of a disaster. In grade 3, it was Connie. Connie, I want to go out with you? No. In grade 7, it was Jody with a flower, and she said no. And finally, my wife, Lisa, was yes. But high school was also good for me, too, because I'd always see me after class notes, and I was a little bit young for that. So my teacher at 36, and I was 14. It didn't work out. But I got to tell you that learning those whole processes about failing is huge. And for me, grade 7 was even better. I had a return trip 2 years in a row. It wasn't until I got to basketball in college that I got it. You see, we were perfect 0-42 as a college team. But it's the lessons of life is when we pause in those moments, we've got a chance to think about it and reflect. And sometimes we get a fresh start. It's not about clearing the stage. It's about reflecting of, wow, you know, I was able to find a job and the next job, and all these failures gave me more confidence to feel that. And it's the confidence in those moments in changing that, wow, but I'm not alone in change. We've got epic leaders who've done it before us, people who have failed miserably and have come to make a huge impact on life. And the founding fathers in the US, if you look to the foremost failure, is Abe Lincoln. Now, if you're a great-great-grandson, you say, hey, my grandfather made it, he's on the buck. But more importantly, this man failed in the Senate. He lost his love of his life, but he became the president because he was persistent. So think about the word persistent when you think of failure. He had determination. Thomas Edison was a very diligent fellow, 10,000 steps to make it all happen and come together. He was very patient with himself. And we think today of the mastermind of it all was a gentleman that was into computers and was very passionate about that. And Steve Jobs was fired from Apple. That's compelling. You lose your job, you get kicked out of the street for the company you founded. But with Steve, it was, you know what, this is not going to knock me down. I'm going to be focused. I'm going to think about what people really want. It's orange inside the apple. Who wanted the iPad? Nobody. But he said, I'm going to show people what I think they need and create the value in all of that. And so I think when we get lost in failure with our children, when we're walking them down the street or in school, how do they stand out? How do we encourage our youth to say, hey, you're an individual, and man, you can make an impact in life. You have an opportunity to really change. So where do you stand in failure? Where do you make an impact? And where it's huge, not only here, but also as individuals, we have a chance to really change that mindset. That, hey, I've been to failure, but over in success, I have an opportunity to think of it in a different way. It's a lesson learned. With kids, it's all about authentic learning experiences. How do you treat that with intention? And so I think it's collaboration. It's my parents, it's my coaches, my mentors, my teachers. They're all part of who I am. And without them, I can't make that difference. I'm not who I am. And collaboration is huge when I think about music, when I think about art. One of my favorite bands is Rush, and they sucked when they first started. But these guys, when they interviewed Geddy, said, Geddy, why are you guys so good? Is because before the next album, I'm in my studio for 50 hours a day or 50 hours a week, pumping out music, thinking all the time, innovating. And these guys are a great success. So my own 8-year-old at home, I say, Audrey, when you have a real bad day, it's okay, because it's what you learn and that spark that she creates. And what I want her to be is a real woman to come out and say, I have challenges, I have, like with running, it's something that leads to more than just a spark. It's like a little fireball that says, hey, in adversity, I'm going to go out and make a difference. I'm going to commit to the change of Edison. I'll be the Steve Jobs. And that's the kind of enthusiasm we want to get to. But it's not just the fireball that I want to look at, because it's much more. It's astronauts that put the belt on, buckle up, that are scared like crap to get up to space, but they know they're going to make it. Because why? Because they know that success, goal setting, is all there for them. but it's much more than space, because as my kid reaches out in the future, there's Mars. And what I really want to think about is I want you to fail tonight. I want you to go home and talk to people about failure, but be in the moment of success and what that can possibly mean and learn from that. Thank you.